because a House committee proposes ending marijuana testing for military recruits in the defense bill, you guys. That's right. A GOP Rico-led House committee is proposing to prohibit military branches from testing recruits for marijuana, while also asking for an update from the Department of Defense on the status of its psychedelics clinical trials. The House Armed Services Committee on Military Personnel released recommended language containing the cannabis and psychedelic provisions as part of the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act. Members want to see the components included in a major annual legislation that's being taken up in a full committee markup next week. Under a section on recruitment, the subcommittee proposed eliminating marijuana testing for enlistment purposes. Section 531, prohibition on cannabis testing for enlistment or commission in certain armed forces. Subject to Section A of Section 504 of Chapter 31 of Title 10, that's for you, Dale, United States Code, the Secretary of the Military Department concerned may not require an individual to submit to a test for cannabis as a condition of enlistment of such individuals as a member or the commission of such individual as an officer of an armed force. That's the actual language right there. The recommended section mirrors a proposed amendment to DOD appropriations legislation last year that was led by, that's right, my good buddy, Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, who also sits on the Personnel Subcommittee. Gaetz told Marijuana Moment on Tuesday that the new NDAA cannabis provision was a collaborative effort. A collab. Cannabis people love that kind of stuff. DOD told lawmakers last year that marijuana's active ingredient, Delta-9 THC, is the most common substance that appears on positive drug tests for active duty military service members and several recruits who test positive for their first time. While it remains to be seen if the testing ban will be approved by the full committee during the next Wednesday's markup, its inclusion in the subcommittee draft is notable, especially in the GOP-controlled House. The panel also proposed report language to follow up on provisions in the most recently enacted NDAA that provide funding for DOD-led clinical trials on therapeutic potential of psychedelics for active duty military service members. The recommended report language says the committee, in quotes, wants to ensure the establishment of the program is progressing without impediment, and calls on DOD to provide Congress with a status update report by January 31st of 2025. And here's the section, you guys. Section 723 of the NDAA for fiscal year 2024, Public Law 118-31, established a Department of Defense program to study the effectiveness of psychedelic substances and plant-based therapies in treating post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries. The committee wants to ensure the establishment of the program is progressing without impediments. Therefore, the committee directs the Secretary of Defense to provide a briefing to the House Committee on Armed Services no later than January 31st of 2025 on the following with regards to the progress of the program. And there is 9 items on here. So number 1, the department's process for funding eligible entities. 2, the Secretary's selection for lead administrator to carry out the program. 3, a list and a description of the eligible entities that have been selected for the program. 4, how the department notified and selected service members to participate in the program. 5, how service members have requested, how many service members have requested participation in the program. 6, how many service members have been selected for participation in the program. And 7, any issues the department is encountering establishing the program. 8, any anticipated delays to implementing the program. And finally, number 9, any other information the Secretary deems relevant. Representative Morgan Luttrell, Republican from Texas, a former Navy SEAL with personal experience with psychedelic treatment, who championed the underlying amendment, told Marijuana Moment earlier this year that he planned to separately meet with military leadership to collaborate on how to effectively administer the program. Meanwhile, a top official at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs said at a conference last week that he was initially surprised by the level of bipartisan support for psychedelic medicine in Congress. He said at this point, psychedelics policy enjoys a greater level of bipartisanship than marijuana. The conference took place about 2 weeks after the House Veterans Affairs Committee passed a bill to require the VA to notify Congress if any psychedelics are added to its formality of covered prescription drugs. Formally of covered prescription drugs. Well, I feel like this is great news, especially for our service members and anyone that wants to join the military. I mean, they've already removed the drug testing requirements for a lot of people that work in cyberspace, the FBI, CIA, and other different government agencies. So I don't see our military being much different. But nonetheless, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all think?
Drug testing is stupid.
I mean,
so there's my starting point.
Fair enough.
I was drug tested in the military, and we found ways around it. Mm-hmm. This is the recruiting purposes. You shouldn't be keeping people out because they smoked weed before. It doesn't make you an immoral human being. But while you're in, I wonder what they're going to continue to do for testing. I also think it's about time that the military recognize what I see in the veteran community, that psychedelics are a wonderful new approach to PTSD. Mm-hmm. And that this needs to be incorporated in. I don't know how we get it into the national formulary or make it available for general prescription in the military. But if you're whacked out with PTSD, you're willing to try anything. And psychedelics from DMT, ayahuasca, mescaline, psilocybin, all those seem to have profound positive effects on PTSD. It's about time they got their head out of their ass and recognized what most of us see already.
Yeah. Fair.
I think it's a no-brainer, and it should be an easy bipartisan win, but we know how that all goes.
Mm-hmm. These days and times.
Yeah,
what is bipartisan?
This is something that's not passable.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, man, that I am politics aside, like I'm happy that these Republicans are at the forefront of this issue and they're pushing it forward. Mm-hmm. Keep it to that.
Fair enough. You have any thoughts on this, Stone?
Like I said, just I can't. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they try to attach this to some shit that has no chance of going through. So if this was just like
they're gonna put this in the NDAA, it's a must-pass bill.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you know more than me.
The National Defense Authorization Act. That's how we get to do things across the world.
Well, I fucking like it then. I'm all for it.
All right, there we go. Let's see some.
Look at these guys.
See some
patriotism. Those are some happy Republicans there.
I'm happy to see some patriotism coming out of Texas today.
Try to strip it out.
What's that?
Hey, it's National Barbecue Day. Let's get patriotic.
Yeah. You think somebody's going to try to strip it out? Like, here's the thing, man. They try to put this in this bill. All the Democrats can be like, oh, they didn't put this shit in our bill when we tried to attach it to the last bill. And we can go back and forth on some shit like that.
I'll put it to you like this. If anyone tries to pull it out, it's probably going to be a Democrat.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just like the Republicans do when the Democrats try to do the same shit.
I'm just saying. If anyone does it, it's going to be a Democrat.
I hope.
And then the Republicans are going to have the argument to say that Democrats don't support veterans and don't support our military because they're not supporting freedom and this and that. It's going to give them way too many talking points.
This is what I know, Jason. This is what I'm saying. I hope it doesn't go down that road. Oh, we don't go down on the road again.
It may not.
Hope we don't go down that road again. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, that's what we've seen time and time again. Mm-hmm. Just because of this little petty bullshit. I think it should be a win. It should be an easy win for them. And I hope the Democrats don't let they don't scratch that petty itch that we know both sides have the tendency to do.
Nick is being a hater, bro. He's like, this does very little for the military. Let's be 100% real here. And I totally disagree with that comment 100%. We have our lowest recruitment rates ever. And this is something that the military desperately needs in order to get their numbers up there, because if you keep on disqualifying people that want to participate in our military armed services and they are disqualified because of the fact that they consumed a plant is just asinine to me.
Now, is this just for people that are entering the military, or is this for actual people that are already in the military? I'm
gonna assume this is for anyone entering the military, and I would imagine it would be for anyone currently serving in the military. Although I would imagine that there's probably going to be some inclusion that, like, like if there's.
I don't see them stop drug testing for people already in. I think it's
I mean, that's where they really need it.
I think this will. I think this will. But
I doubt it.
I guess we're gonna have to find out. I mean, I'll tell you this much: we'll be covering it next week in the story after they have their committee hearing next Wednesday. I'm sure that we'll have a story next Thursday.
Man. Like, good luck. Yeah, good luck on this bill. And Democrats, like, don't scratch that itch, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
They don't.
Hopefully we don't have a Cory Booker in the House.